Hi, I'm Mel Majoros. I am a 5-year cancer survivor. My blog, The Cancer Warrior, is one of the top 10 breast cancer blogs according to blogs.com. I'm here to bring a fresh, upbeat perspective to a topic that to some may seem scary. A positive mental attitude got me through my cancer, and I hope to share that with you. Talking today to Dr. Archelle Georgiou of Healthgrades. How are you today, doctor?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. So, a lot of my listeners may not know about Healthgrades, so tell me a little bit about that.
Healthgrades.com is a resource that people can go to online to get information about doctors and hospitals. And what's most important to know about that is that Healthgrades.com information gives users objective information about doctors, their board certification, their training, their areas of expertise, and it gives quality information about hospitals, their complication rates, their survival rates, their safety levels, and then patients' experiences at those hospitals as well. So what Healthgrades does is for 225 million people a year, it gives them information about where to get care.
And that's very important in these times, especially with everything that's going on with the healthcare industry, and especially like I was telling you before the show, I'm a cancer survivor myself, and if you're not happy with your opinion, and you should get a second opinion, it would be a great place to look for that second opinion and possibly even a third or fourth.
I agree with you. And not only is Healthgrades.com type of research important to use for a second opinion, but I would say it's important before you even go to the first doctor that's going to diagnose you and suggest some treatment. And that's really what the key message here is, that, with the internet, all of us now have information at our fingertips. Healthgrades.com is credible, objective information that's free to use, and it really gives patients an opportunity to do the research that they deserve, so that they can find the best doctor and the best hospital where they're most likely to have the most positive outcome. And if you're hospitalized, the outcome that will allow you to walk out of the hospital or certainly have a complication-free experience.
Well, yeah, that's what we're all hoping for. So how do you judge I don't want to say judge, but how do you rate the doctors for Healthgrade.com?
Well, for doctors, what we do is that we get sources of information about where they went to medical school, what their specialty training is in, whether or not they're board certified. We have information about their malpractice and any other issues that may have to do with their practice, as well as comments from or ratings from patients about their experience with that doctor. On the hospital side, what we do is that we bring in information, data from all 4,500 or so hospitals in the country. That data is actually collected by the federal government, but then we use that data to identify which hospitals have the highest survival rates, the lowest complication rates across a broad range of procedures and conditions. Common ones: heart attack, heart failure, pneumonia, diabetes, heart surgery, hip surgery, knee surgery, back surgery. So there's a total of 31 different conditions that Healthgrades looks at in order to evaluate mortality rate, complication rate. And then those hospitals that have the best outcomes are part of that select group that get identified as distinguished hospitals. That's about the top 5% of the hospitals in the country. But the report that we're releasing today, and the reason that we're talking today, is that we've narrowed that list even further to identify America's best 50 and America's best 100 hospitals. They're the top 1 to 2% of hospitals in the country. And the real distinction there is that they didn't just make the list this year. They've made the list and had high-quality outcomes over several years. Those top 50 hospitals, at least 7 years running, they've met the test of time, and America's best 100 hospitals for at least the last 4 years.
So what is the best hospital that's on your list that has consistently been on your list?
Well, there are actually 50 hospitals on America's Best 50 list and 100 on the parallel list. And we don't point out or select any single one because we look at the list as a whole, but they're scattered across America. There's some obvious ones, the ones that we would expect: Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, New York Presbyterian in New York City, Intermountain in Utah, Gunderson in Wisconsin. But there's also some less obvious ones. St. Luke's in Missouri, Community Hospital in Munster, Indiana, Augusta Health in Virginia. The listeners can actually find all of the hospitals that are across the country and in every city on the Healthgrades.com site. But the point is that you can find high-quality hospitals across America. It's just that you need to do the research before you become a patient.
Exactly, and I think most people wait until they become sick or they become a patient to do this research. And I think, looking back, I think I would have wanted to know more about my doctor beforehand.
That's right. And, when you're dealing with not feeling well in a crisis medical situation where you're scared, you don't necessarily want to take the time to do that research. So that's why we really recommend that when you're doing research about the next vacation you're going to go on or the next restaurant that you're going to go to, take the time to do something much more important, which is to research where you're going to get your care. And then in the event that you have a specific medical condition that you're dealing with later, at least you have a good foundation for what doctor you want to be seeing, what hospital you want to be going to should you need hospital care, so that you can get the best care that you deserve.
I like that. In LA, they have the restaurant ratings, and you wouldn't want to eat at a sushi restaurant that had a C rating, so why wouldn't you want to look that up for your doctor as well?
That's right. We actually did a survey last fall that surveyed 7,000 Americans, and what we asked them was, how long do you research buying your next refrigerator versus how long do you do research to find your next doctor or hospital? And it really wasn't a surprise, but people spend much more time researching their next appliance or their next mobile cell phone plan than they do researching the hospital or doctor where they're going to have their chest cracked open.
Exactly. And you'll probably have a relationship with this doctor, I'm assuming, for the rest of your life.
If it's the right relationship and it's a good doctor, then you will have that relationship for the rest of your life. And, the other thing that we found in that same survey is that the relationship with the doctor is only second in importance to the relationship with a spouse that people identified. It is critically, critically important.
I have actually told people that if they don't like the doctor that they have, that they should fire their doctor and find somebody else. And, with looking at Healthgrades, you don't even have to do that. You don't even have to listen to me. Look at that.
That's right. I think sometimes we as patients tend to be a little bit too passive with respect to who we choose as physicians and whether or not we choose to agree with the care that doctors deliver. And I think that we have to be empowered as patients to really take charge of our own health. We're the ones who care most about ourselves, and especially with the internet, with resources like Healthgrades, I think that we really are in an era where we can take personal responsibility for our outcomes.
I agree, and I think that most people just don't do that. They just see the doctor and they say, okay, you're the professional, you know what you're talking about, but you also have to think, okay, well, if there's a graduating class of 20, somebody graduated at number 1 and someone graduated at number 20, so... That's correct. And that's why specifically on that point, we also really suggest that people who use Healthgrades look to see whether or not their doctor is board certified. As you just mentioned, all of us graduate from medical school, all of us have an MD, but board certification is the only way that we can assure that doctors have achieved a certain level of competence in their specialty training. If a doctor's not board certified, it would suggest that they took the test and didn't pass it. It's a pretty good assumption. Oh, yeah, you don't want that. You don't want to, it's the same thing. You don't want some person, oh, yeah, I can cut your hair for you. Really? Do you know what you're doing? Well, I didn't pass the test. No.
That's correct. There's 750,000 doctors across America, 4,500 plus hospitals across America.
Wow.
And what we really emphasize to people is that you have a choice. Even if you have a network of physicians and hospitals that you have to choose from because that's what your insurance covers, your insurance company still has a network. And within that network, you have choice. Do the research. Do it before you need care.
Exactly. Well, I know you're on a tight schedule. The website, again, is healthgrades.com. You can check out and find any doctor or hospital that you need anywhere in the country.
That's right. Mel, it was really delightful talking to you.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm going to wrap up like I usually do. This is Mel Majoros. I am the Cancer Warrior. You can always find me on Facebook because I am a Facebook junkie, Mel Majoros. Become a fan of the Cancer Warrior on Facebook, the Cancer Warrior on EmpowerRadio.com. Check out my blog, thecancerwarrior.blogspot.com. And as always, life looks pretty good from where I'm sitting. Sending you good vibes. It's the Cancer Warrior on EmpowerRadio.com.